One man, one knife, and an atrocious walking speed. Seriously though, can you put a little pep in your step, Ethan? Anyways, today we're doing the Resident Evil Village Knife Only No Running Challenge. And I would like to say I'm doing this on the Village of Shadows difficulty, but for my own sanity I chose standard. I know you're so disappointed in typing me a long MLA formatted comment in anger as we speak, but rest assured I still struggled and died an embarrassing amount of times, so all pity likes will now be accepted because this challenge seriously took 10 years off of my life. We begin the challenge enjoying a lovely evening with our wife. Only it wasn't lovely because her soup was disgusting, and rightfully so, Gordon Ramsay flew across the pond to give her some hard truths.
Sorry, Ethan. No!
Amidst all the chaos, Chris Redfield himself abducts our baby, and we're sent on a Liam Neeson-esque mission to go and save her.
I will find you. And I will kill you.
We arrive at the village and find our daughter's crib and monkey. We must be close. Hot on the trail, we find our first sign of life. He was about to help us, but was ripped through the ceiling, and then we were yanked into a basement of dead bodies. What a great start. Here we encounter our first enemy, the Lycan, and fun fact, if you just go around him and run straight for the bolt cutters, he'll despawn and save you a lot of stress. After the despawnage, we see a dead body being ominously dragged into a dark room. And I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to pack it in right there. But then I remembered who I was doing this for.
Well, hi there, little Rose.
So, I faced my fears, but only to be attacked by a pack of Lycans. And boy, did I have a good time. After getting nibbled on a few times, I dug deep and remembered my speedrunning roots. Basically, there's a popular speedrunning strat that if you walk into this door at the same time as a Lycan, he'll be stuck, and then no other enemies come at you from the back. So, after a few minutes of auto-scrolling, I walked away and was given a warm welcome to the village by Urias. We then meet another group of survivors who were, you guessed it, slaughtered and burned right in front of us.
We have to go!
But we managed to make it into Castle Dimitrescu, which we've only heard great things about so far.
No, that place is full of nothing but blood and death.
Inside, we meet Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters, and oh my gosh, were they ever hospitable. After escaping, we were chased around by one of her daughters, and then we met our next enemy type, these ghoul-like things. They're not the toughest in the world, but we're also not the fastest, so we did get sickled quite a few times. Now we're on to our first mini-boss fight, one of Lady D's daughters, and as you can tell, I didn't really have much of a strategy here. I came close to dying and pissed her off with my superior blocking skills.
Move your hand!
Then I remembered another strategy. So Ethan usually has a cooldown after 2 knife slashes, but if you quickly hit the block button in between, the cooldown will just cancel out and you'll be able to swing like a madman, which is exactly how I finished her off. After the fight, Lady D was very upset with me that I turned one of her daughters into stone, so she sliced off my good hand and chased me around. This was actually terrifying, not being able to run, knowing there's a 7-foot-tall vampire lady right behind me, but we actually managed to get out unscathed and reattached our hand with the special juice.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have our second daughter fight and first forest non-knife usage. I know, how disappointing, and your day is ruined. But to be able to damage a solder, you need to break the wall using a pipe bomb, and you cannot knife it. I did try, so please. And like the last fight, this wasn't very eventful, and she went down pretty easily, as did the third daughter. And here we have more forest non-knife usage, so please avert your eyes if you feel the urge to leave me a hate comment. It can be our little secret. Now the roof section was absolutely horrifying. I haven't played Village in a hot minute, so I didn't remember exactly where to go. So by the end, I had a massive flock of these creatures following me, and safe to say I was spooked. After solving the puzzle to exit the castle, we find Lady D's kryptonite, which was conveniently right next door and out in the open. But she was hot in our tail, and I had to act fast. So I stopped her, and she transformed into, well, I don't really know, a big stringy dragon with a swarm of bats. And this boss fight wasn't the hardest, but boy did it take a while. During the first phase, she cycles through 3 attacks. The first one is her bat attack. So she releases her bats to attack you around the arena, and the only way to avoid damage is to hide in one of the pillars on either corner. The second is a slam attack from the sky, and then the third is a charge attack on the ground. The charge attack is the only one that really lets us damage her in this challenge, so you just have to wait for her mouth to turn red, and then in our case, walk out of the way, pray she misses, and give her a few slashes, rinse and repeat. And then we get to her second phase, which is kind of like the charge attack, but just to either side of the room. And of course I messed up the timing and had no heals to my name, so after 23 minutes of pure agony from my finger clicking the slash button, I died. Oh, and of course there's no autosave in between, so I had to start from the very beginning. But after another excruciating 20 minutes, I got back to her second phase and finished her off. And I also took her crystallized body for, resale purposes. After the fight, we get our daughter's head in a flask. Yes, you heard that correctly. And Ethan was rightfully disturbed.
Saved? From this? Are you insane?
On our way to House Beneviento, I was ambushed by some lichens and mocked by this chicken. You win this time, PETA. Just kidding, as if. And if you guys are familiar with the game, you'll know House Beneviento is more of a puzzle section than combat, so I skipped most of it. But how could I leave out the cute little baby? I thought I would run into trouble here because I was walking, but I actually had enough time to hide under the bed like a man. And after playing dolls, I got my daughter's leg back and made my way to the reservoir. But on the way, I was attacked by this massive werewolf, and I tried to knife him but quickly came to the conclusion that that was an awful idea. So I shaved my head, channeled my inner Agent 47, and snuck around him undetected.
Excellent work, 47.
At the reservoir, I got my daughter's arm back, but not before interrupting Moreau's Brie Cheese and Static TV sesh with a cheesy one-liner.
I'll just be taking this.
And obviously it causes some problems. So Moreau ends up locking us in with his sludge, and the only way out is to lower the water levels. Only Moreau transforms into a Del Lago on crack and terrorizes us the entire time. And I died here a few times because Ethan walks so slow, and Moreau got me at the last second. But 3 attempts later and we finally made it. After lowering the water levels, we face the man himself, or fish guy, I guess. And if I thought Lady D was a long boss fight, boy was my slashing finger in for a rude awakening. Because Lady D has 9,000 HP, but Moreau is an absolute unit and has 26,000. But I had a pretty solid strat here. I trapped him in this cubby thing, baited an attack, walked away, and slashed him a few times. He quite literally almost killed me 10 times, but Ethan's health actually regenerates just enough to take us out of being one-shotted. So after 36 minutes and icing my right finger, he was cut down into sashimi. And now we're heading into the section that I've been dreading for the entire challenge. The Lichen Stronghold. But after some encouragement from Heisenberg, I made my way over, only to be instantly murdered. On my second attempt, I tried to knife this explosive barrel, which looking back now I'm happy didn't work because I have a feeling it would not have ended well. But after blocking for dear life, we made it inside. And inside surprisingly went better than outside. I power walked through the herd of lichens like an Olympic athlete and made it to Urias. Urias? I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. I had a similar strat here to the other bosses. I baited out an attack, tried to get it out of the way, and gave him a few slashes. But the lichen reinforcements were a huge pain in the ass and killed me a few times. But after another excruciating 25 minutes, I finished him off. And on the way out, we're rewarded with the final part of our daughter and make it to Heisenberg's factory. He tries to make a deal with us, but Ethan had to go all moral high ground here, so he threw us down a dark hole and we were immediately chased by this monstrosity. And even though I wanted to hold down R3 so badly here, I walked away for my life. The beginning section of the factory was pretty easy. I just blocked my way past the enemies. Things did change though when we were introduced to the soldats, specifically the big ones. I was genuinely pretty terrified here, but somehow got out unscathed. And when the factory got all dark,
It's dark.
I knew what was coming. The Soldat Panzer. I dodged the first one around a table, but the second one tried to trap me in the corner with his friend. I was insulted and told them to buy me dinner first. Now we have the Sturm fight, aka that big thing that chased us when we fell in the hole. This fight was very easy knife only, but wholly time consuming. Once he broke all the walls, I would bait him to one side and then loop around and give him 2 to 3 slashes on his weak spot. And right after defeating Sturm, we're thrown immediately into the Heisenberg fight. The first part is not done knife only, so I didn't really include much of the fight, but in phase 2, we knifed the hell out of him. And I honestly didn't really have a strat here, I just got close to his backside and slashed him until he died. After killing Heisenberg, Mother Miranda appears and rips out our heart. So we get to play as...
That boulder punching asshole!
I was also really dreading this section of the challenge because the game quite literally throws so many enemies at you. I decided to fight my way through the first few before picking up my 2-pound weights, lacing up my shoes, and power walking through the rest of the herd. Waiting for our target locator to reload was some of the most horrifying minutes of my life. There were so many enemies here, not being able to run made escaping the horde and marking the target quite difficult, especially the second shot as you can see here. But after making our way past the barricade, we head into another mini-boss fight. Eurus' more armored older brother. The fight actually went better than anticipated here. He was pretty easy to dodge on the ground. I just couldn't really dodge his jump attacks because we are so slow. And he took a while to kill without using the locator, so my finger was on fire. Our final stretch as Chris brings us to Mother Miranda's secret lair. There we find Ethan's not-so-dead wife Mia, who tells us Ethan is really special, aka made of mold because of what happened in Louisiana. So, surprise! Ethan isn't actually dead, and now we're back to playing as him and headed to the final boss. Any guesses as to how you think that'll go?
How lucky you are to die.
This boss fight quite literally took me 2 hours, and it was so painful and significantly reduced my will to live. I died so many times and kept making the same mistakes over and over again, so I had to take a breather and opened YouTube. There I watched a knife-only video on the boss, so shout out Best Gamer Channel, you literally saved my life. I studied his video like I was preparing for a final exam, and then finally killed Miranda. And in true knife-only fashion, we had to finish her off with a pistol. Listen, I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. But there you have it. You can beat Resident Evil Village knife only, no running. Only it sucked so hard and made me want to I'm totally kidding, it was a blast. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching, and if you had a good time, make sure to like and subscribe. I make gaming challenges like this pretty consistently here on YouTube and stream on Twitch. So, until the next one, see ya!
Welcome to the family, son.